Hi all. In this video I'm going to try to show from beginning to end how to take an Excel spreadsheet that has a data set, run it through SPSS, in this case a paired t-test, and then export that file to Word and reformat the table sizes and their format to fit APA formatting guidelines. So first of all, in this view I have my data set. It's a series of pre-menstrual caloric daily averages and a series of post-menstrual period daily caloric averages or means. So the first thing I do is I open SPSS, which I've already done. I go to File, Open, Data, and here I'm going to find where my file is. It happens to be in my statistics folder. It's not an SPSS document though. It's an Excel document, so I'll choose Excel, and here's my data set, and I will upload that into SPSS. To run my paired t-test on this, I will simply click Analyze, go down to Compare Means, over to the Paired Samples t-test, and here I'll move the pre-cal into variable 1, post-cal into variable 2. For options, I'll choose my 95% confidence interval, click Continue, and click OK. And now I have my data output. Once I'm here to export this entire file, which is what I'm going to do in this case, I'm going to choose File, Export. I would choose the type of file I want. I want a Word file and its location, and I'll click OK. And so what I get is this folder here, our file. And so this file is my data output in a nice Word file. But the primary problem with this method is that the bottom table, which to me is the most important table, is gone over the edge. So I actually just want to get rid of that. I'm going to click Edit and Cut, Edit and Cut, because I really want that table to show up as one table. I'll go back to my SPSS file. I put my cursor over this one table, press Copy, go back to my Word document, and edit and paste. And now it goes over the edge of the border, which is a problem, but actually an easier problem to correct than the other issue. And if you watch the other videos, you can see the different ways I've tried this over a given time period. Okay, so now first of all, I want to get rid of the things that I don't want in my paper. I don't really want any of this. I just want these 3 nice tables. And so I'm going to assume that if you're like me, you would have done this, you would have put this in your paper, and let's just say all of your writing is up here. You had some comments, and I'll just put it like this, some type of data analysis information, and you concluded this with see table 1, and then maybe you had another paragraph or a few sentences and some kind of comment, and then you put see table 2. So you would have had this set up already, perhaps. Data analysis, see table 3, and I'll come back to that in just a moment. Excuse me. So now what I want to do is I simply want to cut and paste these tables that I've brought in into where they would actually appear in my paper. Edit, paste. Okay. I'm going to cut that one and paste it. And then my third file I can just simply bring up. Okay, so now it's starting to look a little bit better. Okay, so the first point of this is that in APA, what we start off with is some kind of general statement about what's in the table, and then we refer the reader to the table. Then the next thing we put is the actual table and number, and then we put the title of the table, in italics. You will notice that my paper got out of my double spacing, so let's fix that real quick. We want it to be double spaced. Okay, and so I would repeat this procedure for each of the other tables. And I'll do that in a moment. I don't want the title to actually appear in the table, so I'm going to delete this row. Okay. Then the next thing of interest in APA is that tables should actually span from the left to right margin, and I can do this automatically in Word by highlighting the table, clicking Table, going down to Auto Fit and Distribute, and clicking Auto Fit to Window. I prefer Times New Roman, so let me fix my font into Times New Roman for this particular table. And I'm actually almost done now. The other thing that's interesting in APA is we only highlight the top two horizontal rows and the bottom horizontal rows in a statistical table. So the first thing I do, just my way of doing this, I'm sure you can find other ways and perhaps even better ways, is I get rid of all my borders, and then I go back in and actually put in just the ones I want. And I usually like something about maybe a 1.5 point, and I'll click for the top and the bottom of those cells, and then I'll do these and click just the bottom of those. Format borders and shading. 1.5 point is still there. I put it at the bottom, not at the top. Well, sometimes that happens. Let's fix it back like it was. Format borders and shading. Each time you do this, you find better ways of doing it. Okay. So now I have table 2. I'll repeat the process. My title goes next. It's paired samples correlations. Again, this would be in italics. And it would have table 2 above it. I would delete this row. Table delete row. I'd want all this in double spacing too. Double space. That didn't work out quite right. Sometimes Word does not cooperate. Let's try it again. Format paragraph double space. Okay. Then I'll bring this up, and I'll do the same process. I click on the table, I go to Table, Auto Fit and Distribute, Auto Fit to Window. Again, I prefer Times New Roman, so I change it to Times New Roman. I can fix the borders really quickly, hopefully. I'll go with none for the entire table. And in this case, what we're going to do is we're just going to put all of the horizontal rows. So 1.5, and we're going to click top and bottom. Okay, so we're almost done. So we repeat the process one more time. Let me try it this way this time. Format paragraph double space. It changed it when I introduced the tables from SPSS. I have to work on that idea. Okay, table 3. Name of the table in italics. I do it that way. Well, there's more than one way to do things, isn't there? Okay. Again, I'm going to delete the top row. I don't want the title actually in the table itself. This one is interesting because I can follow the same process. I highlight the table, go to Table, Auto Fit and Distribute, Auto Fit to Window. I'll change my fonts to a Times New Roman. Okay. Sometimes you have to play around with it a little bit. Now what I have to do here is something a little bit different. Let's go and fix our borders first. I've already fixed the font. None. Table. Here I'm going to do just the top this time. Format borders and shading. The cell. Just going to click on the top and go with the 1.5. And then what we're going to do is click these. Format borders and shading. And we're going to click both the top and the bottom there. Okay. Now I'm still not really happy with this look because I want this to look a little bit better. So I might have to actually manually move these around a little bit more. If I can. Maybe what I'll do with this is I'll abbreviate this as something more like this. Standard error of the mean, that's okay. That's okay too. This I don't like it broken there. And I don't think that SPSS or Word understands that. So there I have it. So now I can save this file. And so what we did was, in this video, we started off with an Excel data set. We uploaded it to SPSS. We ran a pair t-test. We exported this output to Word. We placed the tables within our paper. And we used a different feature. We used the table Auto Fit and Distribute, Auto Fit to Window, to get our tables to line up from margin to margin, which is what is expected in APA. So once again, let's just go over the construction of the table in APA, and we'll conclude with that. So we introduced the table. We don't want to put everything in the narrative that is in the table. We wouldn't want to put all this information. Here we might write something like a paired t-test was run for this particular study. And we refer the reader to the table by saying see table 1, so it connects the reader to the table. We put table 1 at the left margin, we double space again, we put the name of the table, and then we actually provide the table. In the table, we only want to highlight the top 2 and bottom horizontal lines, the idea being less is more. And then we simply repeated that for table 2 and 3. I also changed the format of the table to go with the format I have in my paper. And I use Times New Roman because it is the most effective font for saving space, which is what APA is all about. I hope you found this video informative. I tried to go through it to see how fast I could do it so you can see how fast this can be done. So if necessary, you might have to review it again. But I hope you've enjoyed this and benefited from it. Thank you for your attention.